All right, in this lesson, we're going to look at feminine energy and why it has been suppressed. Let's talk about Sinead O'Connor. In the early 1990s, she was one of the most successful female artists in the world. Her voice was undeniable, her presence magnetic, but she didn't smile on command. She didn't perform femininity in the way the media wanted. She spoke out about abuse, religion, politics, and the world punished her for it. In 1992, she ripped up a photo of the Pope live on SNL, a protest against the Catholic Church's abuse cover ups. She was instantly vilified. Radio stations banned her, and her career took a nosedive. For years, she was labeled angry, crazy, difficult. But behind the rage was a wounded child and a fiercely intuitive woman refusing to stay silent. Decades later, her words proved true. The truth did come out, but the damage was already done. In her memoir, she wrote, "They tried to bury me, but they didn't realize I was a seed." Sinead's story is a mirror of the feminine across centuries. Wild, feeling, intuitive, untamed, and punished for it. But she never stopped telling the truth, not because it was easy, but because her soul demanded it. Her life reminds us feminine energy is often suppressed, not because it's weak, but because it's powerful. And when we stop shrinking it, it doesn't just rise, it roots. So, looking at feminine energy, let's begin with clarity. Feminine energy is not about being a woman, it's a primordial force, one half of a sacred polarity, where masculine energy tends to be focused, linear, and outward. Feminine energy is intuitive, cyclical, and inward. It's the moon to the sun, okay, the ocean to the mountain, the womb to the sword. Every human carries both, but most of us have been taught to suppress the feminine in favor of constant forward motion. So, this lesson is about remembering what that suppression cost us and what we gain when we awaken her again. Feminine energy isn't passive, it's receptive. It allows, it listens, it feels before it decides. It knows that stillness can be just as powerful as speech, that softness can melt resistance, and that wisdom doesn't always come from thinking. Sometimes it comes from sensing, from breathing, from knowing without proving. So when we embody this energy, we reconnect with the flow of life and with ourselves. The suppression of the feminine isn't just personal, it's historical. For centuries, the qualities of the feminine emotion, softness, intuition were dismissed as weak or dangerous. Why? Because they couldn't be controlled, because they invited mystery, nurtured rebellion, and refused to play by linear rules. So femininity was either demonized or domesticated, either feared or fetishized. And women, especially powerful, expressive women, were told to tone it down. Smile more, be quiet, be small. But we're not doing that anymore. And when the feminine is suppressed, a woman begins to vanish from her own life. She becomes a performer, smiling throughout the burnout, succeeding through the exhaustion. She disconnects from her body, from her sensuality, and from her own desires. She stops trusting her instincts and starts overthinking everything. And deep down, there's an ache, a hunger, not just for the rest, but for the remembrance, for the wild, wise woman she used to be before the world trained her out of herself. So let's be clear, reclaiming feminine energy is not about going backwards. It's not about boxes, binaries, or outdated stereotypes. It's about coming back into balance. It's about no longer seeing your softness as a liability. It's about refusing to apologize for your emotions, your intuition, your deep knowing. And to awaken the feminine is to remember that your body, your feelings, your rhythm, they're not weaknesses, they're wisdom. And honoring them, that is revolutionary. So let's reflect in this journal prompt. Take some time to write on these questions. What messages did I receive about being feminine? Was I allowed to feel deeply or told that I was too much? What parts of my feminine energy have I learned to hide and why? You were never too much. You were never not enough. You were simply feminine in a world that didn't know how to hold you. For your softness is not a flaw, it is a force. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove it. You simply have to remember your feminine self is not something to chase. She is something to come home to. So, bonus practice here. And when we do these practices and journal prompts, please pause the video and run through it. Reclamation starts with repetition. So you're going to hear me say kind of the same things over and over again under different contexts relating to different subjects. So I want you to find a quiet space. You can stand or sit in front of a mirror. No pressure, no posing, no judgment. Just you as you are. Rest one hand over your heart and one over your womb or belly. Breathe in slowly. Exhale even slower. And look gently into your own eyes and repeat these words out loud. My softness is strength. My feelings are sacred. I am in my feminine. Say that 3 times. Feel each word drop deeper. And if it feels awkward, especially if it feels awkward, stay with it because the feminine doesn't rush. She receives. Let yourself receive these words. This is all part of the NLP programming that we talked about in our first module. Let them become a home that you return to.